Alright, hey everybody, we're installing 2017 Italian honeybees in the hive. We're going to give this a go again this year, see what we can come up with. Kind of a non-conventional package installation, considering we had some pretty crazy weather this week and the bees ended up spending a couple days in the garage with a heat lamp and supplemental food and all that kind of good stuff. So we'll see how they do this year. Anyone's wondering, this is a package, about 3 pounds of bees. There's a live queen in here. They are not related to her, so we do need to be careful about how we install them. We're going to leave her in her little cage so that they can't get to her and decide they don't want her to be their queen. So we pull this cover off. We should see a bunch of bees because I've been feeding them. There we are. These are beautiful little Apis mellifera ligustica Italian honeybees. Get shake into their new home. I've sprayed everything frame-wise with a 1-to-1 sugar solution, so that should keep them kind of interested in their house right now. They also have nothing to protect. They don't have a queen. They have no food stores, so they're going to be pretty docile today, hopefully. And then we literally just pour them in out of the box, give it a couple good shakes. It's always Katie's favorite part. We can hear them, they're starting to buzz a bit, they're getting a little agitated. I can understand why. I am looking for our queen cage still. Still got a good amount of bees in here. I pulled out 4 frames of a 10 to give a little bit of room here. And there's our queen cage. If I get some of these guys out of here, we can get to it. I do have to say, doing a nuke install is kind of a lot nicer. A little bit easier. Okay, so now we can kind of see there's a little white wood-colored box in there. That's our queen cage, so she's living in there. You can see some of the bees are kind of stuck to her. There's going to be a few bees in the queen cage with her. Those are her only relatives at the moment. And then in about 30 days, this hive will have turned over, and all but the very oldest bees will be related to her, and all these foreigners will be gone. Average lifespan's about 30 to 35 days on a honeybee. Having a hard time getting this last cluster out to get to the queen. From everything I've seen, there's usually a tab that allows us to grab her a bit easier. This one doesn't have one, for whatever reason. So we're going to try here. Alright. There we go. So now we want to make sure our queen's alive. Looks so far. There we have it. We have a happy, healthy queen in there. No attendant bees in there with her. But I'm not sure if you guys can see this or not, but she's walking around in there. That is our queen bee for the year. She's marked. So that's going to make future inspections real simple. If you can kind of see, there's a yellow dot on her back. Yellow is the 2017 year. 5 colors, they change them every year. We're going to need a marshmallow. You have one on your back. We have mini ones. So the way that this is going to work is we can see the queen in there in the cage, and then there's this little cork end. Usually there's a marshmallow or a piece of hard candy under this cork, and what we would do is just pull the cork out, leave the candy in place, and then the bees are going to come slowly eat through that candy plug and release the queen. That should take a few days. and by then they should have accepted her as their queen. So Katie just ran inside. We're gonna have to grab a little piece of marshmallow or something since there wasn't any in here. If I were to just pull this plug and set her in there, she might be fine. She might come out, start laying, start getting to work, and everything would be fine. In more likelihood, some of these bees that don't know her as their queen would probably not take too kindly of her, and they would kill her. I'm going to put these frames back while we wait. I don't want to lose my queen, so I'm hanging on to her. Three pounds of bees in that package, so we should have probably a couple thousand bees right now, maybe somewhere in there. Trying to make space for these frames without smushing anybody. They get real angry when you do that. And you can see we've still got some frame left over from last year. This has all been drawn out by last year's bees that we lost. So all these that are capped, these are all brood cells, meaning that there was a bee in some stage of development under all of those. Same on this side, we can actually see that's kind of unique, but we would have had an emerger right there until we lost them last year. So anybody that's left over like that, the bees will break those caps open and dig them out and throw them away. Bees are super hygienic. They don't like dead bees in their hive. So they will remove them. They actually have a worker bee that works as what they call a mortuary bee, and that's their job. Tends to be older nurse bees. They end up clearing out and removing the dead. So we see that there's these stragglers hanging out. They're going to do this for the rest of the day. What I'm going to do is leave this equipment in that box just right here, so that later today when these guys figure out what's going on, they can just fly right home. Okay. Well, we didn't quite plan ahead to have a marshmallow. I assumed there'd be one in there, so instead they're going to have organic fruity bites. But it should do the same thing. It should take them a couple days to get through it and block up that queen. So we'll see how that goes. Let's hope they like strawberry. So we're going to grab our queen cage again. And this time what I'm going to do is give them a shake. Get off, get out of my way, give me room to work here. And then real carefully, I want to pull this plug out without ditching her somehow. Don't want to drop her, don't want to smash her. So what I'm going to do is, as I pull this cork plug out, get my finger over it. She's not going to go anywhere. She's not going to sting. She's not going to bite. She's not doing anything. And then very carefully, you're going to install our Black Forest Organic Fruity Bite instead of a marshmallow. But it works. The principle is the same. And it's all organic. Cool. So we're going to call that good. We're going to say that's sealed. We can see that it's blocking that hole. She's not going to be able to just pop out, and they're not going to be able to just rush her and get in there. So I'm going to hang her back in between the frames, fold this tab over. You guys want to get one last look at her, and then I'm going to walk away from the hive for 3 days. So I'll come check on them middle of the week and see if she has been released. And if not, if they've gotten that plug out, or maybe they decided they didn't like her. Yeah, lady. And they decided to take care of her. We'll see what happens. There's nothing we can do at this point except check on her in a few days. So hopefully everybody saw something they hadn't seen before and found that kind of entertaining. So tune in. We'll give everybody updates as soon as we can, and let you guys know how this hive's doing this year. Alright, so one last thing we did today is I did add a feeder to this hive. So I've just added an empty medium honey super here with no frames in it, and then that jar's got some holes punched out in it. But as these guys are just getting acclimated, they're not going to have any stores to rely on. They're not sending scouts and foragers out right now. They need to get their queen situated, get all their rolls underway, and then they'll start providing for themselves. So that was the only other thing that we had done. Is the entrance reducer is in. It's on the smallest setting. That just kind of helps keep them from leaving. It's also going to help protect them right now while their numbers are kind of weak. Nobody can really like just come in and raid this hive at this point. So all I'm going to do now is just throw this cover back on, and we're all done for the day.